but let's just pretend I'm not.
Sounds good.
Okay, Grace. You're up.
All right. Okay. The institution of marriage is facing its biggest challenge yet in our society today. Divorce is easily accessible and widely accepted. Staying married has become an unimaginable purgatory where one is chained mercilessly to their provoking partner. This paradox has opened occupations to counselors, marriage and family therapists, and philosophers with their deep-rooted doctrine and advice for the best blissful and happy marriage. Akin to a great redwood tree, it takes time, patience, and long-suffering for marriage to reach its full potential. Heavenly Father said this life would not be easy, but it would be worth it. Is that why there are so many who find marriage difficult only to feel the need to make a moment of disagreements turn into a permanent termination? When divorce happens, we are less likely to go back into marriage again because we feel so wronged and almost abandoned by our own fairy tale marriage, not ending in a happily ever after. The wise essayist, lecturer, and poet Ralph Waldo Emerson emphasized his ideas on marriage being treated like an insatiable appetite when he said, "Is not marriage an open question when it is alleged from the beginning of the world that such are in the institution wish to get out, and such are out wish to get in? The grass is usually just as green on the other side as it is on our side. Divorce is running rampant like a plague, and the idea and virtue of marriage is under attack." The way we look at marriage today has been contorted by the media into a negative practice, or not so important one. We come to find the spiritual and physical benefits marriages provide are astronomically positive and increasingly progressive to our state of existence rather than that of any single or divorced persons. Of course, there are the major exceptions that are deemed imperatively appropriate when the marriage must ipso facto be nullified to the endangerment of lives. Having a family stimulates your mind and soul. With all the stressors of life and all the joy and happiness, why do people get divorced? Has society not made life easier to be married, a married couple? Is not marriage a long-term investment in our future, building the profound, enduring love with the potential to last forever? Many couples say, "I do," and have the full intention of making a marriage work, but life gets in the way. Traditions of different cultures that were once intriguing and romantic are now unenthusiastic and bothersome. Courtship, where the doors would be willingly opened, the dinner was graciously paid, and the kisses would light up the night sky, are left behind in the exciting new months of dating. Premarital sex can hinder the happiness factor and risk a marriage in most cases. Adultery is one of the most serious reasons for causing a divorce and can be irreparable. Abuses along the same lines, but including sub-issues such as alcohol, verbal and physical abuse, rape, and incest. Although there are very few exceptions, marriage should be embraced and guarded like a valuable gem for each individual to take care of. Having kids with marriage makes the environment secure and stable that holds fertile soil to grow a family. As we view government policies that have played a major role on marriages, we find that there are reasons why divorce is so widely used and acceptable. In the year 1970, in the United States, Ronald Reagan enacted the no-fault divorce law. This allowed the dissolution of a marriage to not require showing the wrongdoing by the husband or wife. Before this, the petitioner had to show proof that the defendant had committed a breach of contract in the commitment to their marriage. The no-fault divorce has had much controversy when it comes to collecting alimony, maintenance, and property division. But when it comes to the quality of life for both parties, specifically domestic violence and female suicide, the rates have decreased dramatically. Stephanie Coontz, a professor of history at the Evergreen State College, commented on the ratings, saying the national divorce rate has fallen to about 23 divorces per 1,000 marriages in 1979 to under 17 divorces per 1,000 marriages in 2005. She goes on to add, once you permit the courts to determine when the person's desire to leave is legitimate, you open the way to arbitrary decisions about what is or should be tolerable in a relationship, made by people who have no stake in the actual lives being lived. The individual-focused law was passed in California first and then on a national level. Even countries such as Austria, Canada, Mexico, and Spain have enacted those laws as well. I believe this law has brought good to the marriage plan by leaving accountability in the hands of the two parties involved in their sacred union. The no-fault divorce addresses many symptoms of divorce and allows the government to be more hands-off, allowing choices of the couple to be made more between the couple. The institute of marriage is wrought with power and joy. We marry for a myriad of reasons. Marriage gives you a platform to build your bloodline. When you have children, you leave behind a legacy and a heritage. There will be adversities challenging our stamina and testimony. If we can have the right tools from the right sources guiding our marriages in this existence, we will be able to find the best way to stay married and to have a happy marriage today in the age of technology. As long as we take control of the way we run our homes and vote on policies that help protect our rights as spouses and parents, we'll be able to make choices based on what is right for our families and not sticking our noses in everybody else's family business. Marriage takes time to develop. You must let the roots dig further, the grass grow around it, and be patient. No one person is perfect, and neither are you. True religion is the best example of how to nurture a marriage. Sacrifice your time and talents for the ones you love, just as Jesus Christ sacrificed his love and life for us. Be kind and optimistic. Heavenly Father wants us to speak kind words to each other from the heart. It's proven having a positive attitude works wonders for your health. I know my marriage is not always perfect, but it is the way of the Lord. I'm already reaping the benefits of living in a covenant with my chosen partner with the peace of knowing that he's my best friend, confidant, and eternal companion.
Excellent.
Good job. That was a lot more professional and organized.
Sorry.
Mine probably will be.
Oh,
Oh, what? Sorry.
I just said yours sounds a lot more professional and organized than mine probably will.
yeah,
I have a lot of help.
It's very quickly, so it was really good.
Dang.
very, very good.
Was
I
it
like
okay?
things. Yes, it was okay. I thought
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Oh.
You know, for me, with the divorce, I've been on both ends of the spectrum because I've been married and divorced and remarried, so I know what it's like. And it's not a fun thing to go through a divorce, regardless what the circumstances might be. And
Right.
so
Yeah, I
never
tried to
fun.
add that part in because I knew that, well, of course, there are people that are married and have been divorced, but especially you, that you're the only person I know of in our group that has, and I wanted to make it so that it applied to everybody.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, with
No worries.
especially with my daughter, you know, she wasn't born yet when we got divorced yet. And when we got divorced, my ex-wife was pregnant with her, so my daughter didn't
Oh, wow.
actually go through that until after she was born, and she didn't quite understand why she was going back and forth up until
Um,
my ex-wife passed away 11 years ago. So, but
yeah, that's got to
never
be hard.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's behind us now. So,
Yeah.
So are there
Yeah.
questions that we're supposed to ask, or
that's what it says. And let me read it to you real quick.
Well, are you looking at the peer review that we're supposed to fill out?
I didn't see a
The link,
review.
we're supposed to fill that out for everyone, and the link for it is in the notes from at the beginning of the week. I just pulled it up, and it's like super long.
Oh, the notes
So,
from the instructor, there's a peer review.
yeah, so I would
Okay.
click that link so that if you fill it out for everyone
There
later
it
on,
is.
you
Okay.
know what to be remembering for, because there's a lot of stuff about all of the requirements we're supposed to meet.
Oh, is it like a like separate? Like you open up one and you listen to their speech, and as they're talking, you're filling it out, and then you submit it, and then for the next person you do
Yeah.
it?
You do it for each
that how?
person. Yeah.
Okay, because it's not something that you can actually like sit down and review. It's actually
It's
like
a
like a
link.
submission,
Yeah.
like a separate window.
So if you can recall
Holy
all
smoke.
of these things from memory, that's great, but I can't because this is a lot of stuff for each
You want me
speech.
to help you guys fill it out real quick? Or
That would be great.
It's more like,
I
maybe
don't
that's why they
know.
said it was going to take an hour.
yeah, this is a lot of stuff. So the only
That's a
question I
lot.
can think of to ask you is, do you have suggestions for changes in policies or things that the government leaders could do?
Currently, the policy that I picked was actually enacted in 1970. So I was looking at some current, and we all know, the current marriage policies that are going on today, and we read that book on the attack of the traditional family. So what I said about it, oh, I think I just, yeah, the talk I just had is called The Marriage and Divorce Persuasion. But I think I said that as long as I don't know of any specific policies that are currently being enacted for as far as divorce goes. I know that there are a lot of like sub policies with parents' rights um, and like what I was saying about property rights. Um, but I'm not sure about any new deals that are going on with divorce. Um, but what I said was, as long as we take control of the way we run our homes and vote on policies that help protect our rights as spouses and parents, we'll be able to make the choices based on what is right for our families and not sticking. I put, just for emphasis, not sticking our noses in everybody else's family business, as in there's a lot of hands-on government that's been infiltrating the marriage system. So as long as we can vote on those policies that protect the traditional family and marriage as a whole, then we can prevent any of these. We can protect our rights to do as we choose within our own marriage and not have, like in the, I guess the fault divorce policy that was enacted before, there were a lot of flaws in that one where some, what was it? Sorry, I gotta look back
No.
in my
Oh,
research.
you're fine.
Okay. It basically, like the problems that I said, like the how the women's suicide rate had dropped, and the what else was it? The women's suicide rate and the domestic violence rate. Like, because it felt like since the government was so much involved that these people weren't able to get out of a situation. So a lot of the women, if you put two and two together, that were being beaten, but didn't have a good enough argument, according to the judicial system, to leave their spouse for any of that reason. Whereas with the no-fault divorce, because at first I was a little skeptical about it. I thought it was, like increasing divorce rates, but it's actually decreased divorce rates, and the rates are higher than what we think. they are. Like everybody thinks that divorce rates are at 50%. You know, they're 50% higher and everything, but um, marriages have actually become, I guess, better. Um, and since this law has been enacted, they haven't gone down. That's the research that I did.
Okay.
And but yeah, I think it's a good thing. I don't know. I didn't think it was a good thing at first because I thought it was encouraging divorce. But as I was reading about it, and you know how we were told about that CDC about the child, or not CDC, the CRC, the child. Uh, what is it? The argument from the parentsrights.org, how they had about the child. Do you guys remember that? I think it was 2 weeks ago.
I don't
It
know.
was with the parents' rights, and they were talking about how they wanted to pass a law on the rights of children, and it was really just telling the parents how they don't have a right to basically, you know, have their kids participate in religious services.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I do remember that. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, just stuff like that where you think a law might be bad because of on the surface of it, or you think it might be good. Like I thought that Child Act was, you know, good because of when I was just reading on the front, but it's not until you actually get into the real policy that you actually understand. So policies can be like almost like sugar coated if you think about it. You have to really get down to the nitty gritty of it. And then like last week on that, did you guys see the movie on the I'm just a bill, yes I'm only a
Yeah,
bill.
yeah.
Yeah.
From Saturday Night
And,
Live.
yeah, and he was like, and giving legal status to 100 legal immigrants. And he's like, what? He's like, I didn't have time to read myself because these bills are incredibly long and ridiculous. So, but yeah, just keep your eyes on policies and bills that go on. That's what uh, my main message on here is actually try to read a policy, even though it may seem impossible, or see if somebody else has summarized it or whatnot before you vote on it. But after watching The Parents' Rights, I was really, I think I might go on that website a little more,
Okay.
because I don't want to be arrested for preventing my child to go to church. Ridiculous.
Well, I thought your speech was very, very well
Yeah.
put together, I thought. So,
Yeah, it was.
Oh, thank you.
well, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to go next, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
What's your last name, Jeff?
Mine?
Yeah.
Case.
CASE?
Yeah.
Oh, and I
Okay.
submitted your Grace's peer review, and you don't have to put the email address for it to submit.
You don't? Okay.
Right.
Okay, and my presentation topic was divorce, if you didn't get that. Marriage or divorce or whatnot.
Okay.
What's your email address, Grace?
It's Grace Kelly Gamble, my full name, at gmail.com. Or do we need to do the school one?
I didn't
don't
put yours
think
at all, and it
we
still submitted it just fine, so
It's still,
I don't think it matters.
okay, then I just won't
Maybe
worry
I'll-
about it.
Then I won't worry about email addresses then. Okay, submit yours. There it went. Okay.
Thank you guys for listening. Sorry, that was a little long.
No, yours set the high bar for the speeches.
Sorry.
No, yours is really good.
I had a lot of help. So.
My speech is on how pornography ruins families. And I was shocked to learn what the statistics were on pornography. As of 2013, I learned that pornography is a $13 billion a year industry, which is more than the net worth of The Major League Baseball, the National Basketball Association, and the National Football League combined. The statistics are staggering, but they are real. I was flabbergasted of that report. I'm sure the numbers have increased since then. I have seen family members, friends, get sucked into such a trap. Satan knows our weaknesses and uses those weaknesses to sift us like wheat. Elder Dallin H. Oates of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles said this about pornography. Pornographic or erotic stories and pictures are worse than filthy or polluted food. The body has defenses to rid itself of unwholesome food. With a few fatal exceptions, bad food will only make you sick, but do no permanent harm. In contrast, a person who feasts upon filthy stories or pornographic or erotic pictures and literature records them in this marvelous and trivial system we call a brain. The brain won't vomit back filth. Once recorded, it always remains subject to recall, flashing its perverted images across your mind and drawing you away from the wholesome things in life. I remember when I first heard an analogy on filthy or polluted food. Pornography works the same way in sense, but worse. I have heard once it is in your head, it will take a long time to get rid of it or nothing at all. When looked into the scriptures, we consider the scripture in Jacob, chapter 2, 4 through 6. Jacob describes his emotions and it reads, For behold, as yet ye have been obedient unto the word of the Lord, which I have given unto you. But behold, hearken ye unto me, and know that by the help of all-powerful Creator of heaven and earth, I can tell you concerning your thoughts, how that ye are beginning to labor in sin, which is appeareth every abominable unto me, yea, and abominable unto God. Yea, it grieveth on my soul, and causes me to shrink with shame before the presence of my Maker, that I must testify unto concerning the wickedness of your hearts. Jacob knew what these people were doing. Jesus once said, Whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart, which you can find in Matthew 5, verse 28. When I was on my mission, I witnessed something that I wish I could forget. My companion and I tracked into a man who was heavy in pornography. He lived alone and was recently divorced. When learned who he told us his last hope to save him from such sin, his wife left him because of his addictions, and he didn't know what to do. He said he couldn't live without viewing some type of porn. He had it all over his apartment. He wanted his wife and children back, but to do that, he had to give up his addiction. He never gave it up, and we did all we could to help him. Many like him were weaved in a web where they were stuck and cannot get out. A lot of people have claimed that there is no way out. That is not true. There's a way, and that is through our Savior Jesus Christ. Does watching bad movies, television shows, listening to bad music part of addictions to pornography? Absolutely, it does in every way. Elder M. Russell Ballard said this, We see a rapid trend involving sexual addiction over the internet. Some became so addicted to pornography and participated in dangerous rooms that they ignore their marriage covenants and family obligations and honest. Many run afoul of the law. Others reverted behavior, taking ever more risk to feed their immoral addiction. Marriages crumble and relationships fall as addicts often lose everything of real eternal value. Many marriages and families are destroyed because of husbands and yes, even wives get caught up in this terrible disease. I have seen a wife stick by her husband after she learned about his addiction. She was very hurt, but she was there for him to help him get out of such filth. Elder Richard G. Scott said this, Satan became a master at using the addictive power of pornography to limit individual capacity to lead by the Spirit. The onslaught of pornography in all of its vicious, hoarding, destructive forms has caused great grief, suffering, heartache, and destroyed marriages. It is one of the most damning influences on Earth, whether it be through the life of printing page, movies, television, obscene lyrics, vulgarities on the telephone, or flickering personal computer screens. Pornography is overpoweringly addictive and severely damaging. I honestly believe that that statement is true. In my own home, we as parents have taught our children when we continue to teach our children the significance of how bad pornography really is. We want them to learn, and so they can teach their own children as well. Thank you.
Yay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Awesome. Awesome.
I don't know. Hope that was all right.
It was good. What really caught my attention was your personal story.
Yeah, me
Like,
too.
she wasn't kidding when she had us read all that stuff. Oh, sorry, I don't have a lot of bandwidth, so you won't see my face. It's
No,
really
you're fine.
But yeah, she wasn't kidding when she had us listen and watch everything about that, reading the personal stories. That like totally triggers you whole like when you were talking about that guy who was addicted to porn on your mission, and like all of a sudden like nothing else, like I had no distractions. I was just like zeroed in on your story. Like it was good.
Yeah.
I could remember, if you wouldn't mind me just saying this, I remember when we went into his apartment, this is after his wife had left him, that we literally had to tell him, please take those pictures down off the wall because we didn't want to see that. And he
Yeah, you
politely,
could probably have that feeling in the room. Probably so
yeah.
awkward.
I went in there like, whoa. So he took them down, and obviously he put them back up after we left, but that was his prerogative. Anyway.
Oh jeez.
So,
Oh, that's sad.
I just have a question. I
Sure.
was listening, but maybe I missed it. Did you describe like a policy or a law that's like going on to help this, or something like a suggestion that the government or an organization could do to help the problem?
No, I failed to put that in there.
Or did you find one?
What's that?
Did you find one, like, or any one specific? Because I know there's like child pornography. There's, that's big in the policies right now. They're trying to create laws against. Well, they have created laws against it. But do you know if they've done anything recently with it?
Not that I'm aware of. Yes, it's there, but not recently, I'm sure. But
Mm-hmm.
quite honest with you, I really do not know that question or the answer. So I really don't know. But
No worries.
I'm sure the government can really help and do something. Um, as far as I'm
Right. Or I
concerned,
know
they
that the
can
Salvation
block all
Army, that they're.
the.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. If they just block the internet site, that people just don't go in there and look at that, but that would help, but I know that will never
Right.
happen. So,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah,
said,
I
it's
know
a
that.
$13 billion industry, so
Yeah.
if not more.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just researching a little bit about that, and I know that the Salvation Army, an organization, I guess, they're trying to fight that whole pornography with mainly with older men who are, fathers, and that's to promote healthy families. And they have this page, and they call it the White Ribbon Against Pornography. So they've like created a white ribbon for it. So I guess that
And
would be an
that's,
organization for it.
yeah, I've heard of that.
And there's also
Yeah.
that Fight the New Drug group on
Oh,
Facebook, and they're all over the United States, at least from what I've seen on their page and their website.
Hmm.
And it's funny because a lot of them have been driven by Christian societies too, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I think this
what
Fight
did
the New
I
Drug
see? Like
is
the National Coalition for Protection. Oh, sorry. Wait, say that again?
the Fight the New Drug organization was started by, I think, a group of LDS guys.
Oh, really?
Mm, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are a lot of organizations. I don't know if government has had their hand in it. I know that they have their hand in child pornography because that's, actually a law that was enacted, and they have, those police officers that get online and look for these predators that are looking up child pornography and then catch them in the act, and they go to jail because of it. So I
Yeah, they
know that
do.
that's a law.
I
Yeah,
think they've
that is
kind
a
of,
law. They do. You're right. They actually do that.
yeah, I think they've kind of given up if it doesn't have anything to do with children involved.
Right, right. Yeah, I think they're just letting. But I mean, it's such a huge attack on the family.
Hmm.
And I mean, I mean, if government wants to stand behind it, great. But if they want to stand back, I think that's even, me personally, I think that the less hands-on the government has on it, the better. I don't know. I'm just one of those. I'm one of those independent people who's not a part of a party and is like, I like being able to run my life by very limited government.
Yeah, well, and
But
with
that's
this,
just me.
in an industry that has such high demand, they're just gonna find, I think they're just gonna find ways around it. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Oh
no
yeah,
way they
and
can
then
just
ways to
ban it or something like that, unfortunately. But
yeah, or to get onto the internet and look at what everybody's looking at. That's just what I see going on if they start to take over the pornography to make it like a government issue, that they're just going to oh, what is it? They're just going to monitor, your internet and stuff. And yeah, it just
well,
creeps me out.
well, and I know with a lot of things that like people think like, oh, I'm not supposed to do that. That makes it even more exciting and tempting. Like it could cause more of a fight.
Right?
All right.
Next,
Emily or Julia?
I'll go, if that's okay.
Julia,
What?
go
Pick a
ahead.
straw.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Alright,
You can do it.
so abortion and more specifically Planned Parenthood. So I don't know if I'm supposed to introduce myself. I'll just introduce myself. My name is Julia Stack. I'm a child development major at UIU Idaho. And as a child development coach at UIU Idaho, I spent many, many hours studying the life and development of children. Children are a big part of my life and they bring me joy and happiness. I believe every child life matters. It saddens me that some people believe that a child's life only begins when it is born. It is proven that baby's heart starts at 3 weeks, by 3 weeks after conception. How can you not see life heartbeat? Despite this evidence of life, abortions continue to perform as late as 25 weeks after conception. Pro-abortion advocates focus on the rights of mothers. What about the rights of the infants? It saddens me that organizations like Planned Parenthood, who perform thousands of abortions a year, are being supported and funded by our government. Planned Parenthood, according to their annual report in 2013, Planned Parenthood performed over 30% of the estimated 1.5 million abortions performed in the United States. It is said by them that an unborn baby dies every 96 seconds in a Planned Parenthood clinic, and 41% of their income comes from the government. Planned Parenthood has recently become a trending topic in the media because of their business in selling the body parts of aborted babies. It has been proven through many undercover videos that these baby body parts are being sold for profit, which is illegal and just plain wrong. Will we continue to let the government fund an organization that kills unborn babies and sells their body parts for profit? Planned Parenthood is a threat to children and families everywhere. It takes the lives of precious children. They justify their doings by saying babies cannot feel pain or that they're not alive. These statements are untrue. Like I said before, baby's heart begins beating soon after conception. This is life. Killing these babies is evil and needs to stop immediately. But what is to be done about it? Abortion is legal throughout the United States, but each state has the power to limit or regulate the use of abortion. There have been several policies enacted at the state level to prevent abortions from happening, but nothing has been done yet at a federal level to stop Planned Parenthood's misdirection. One organization that is playing a part in bringing Planned Parenthood to an end is the National Right to Life Committee, or the NRC. Letters to the U.S. House of Representatives urging them to pass bills to stop funding Planned Parenthood. These bills have been blocked by Senate Democrats. Planned Parenthood continues to receive funding from the government annually. These bills to defund Planned Parenthood need to be supported by family advocates like us. I would urge all of you to support the NRLC and fight to defund Planned Parenthood. Write to your local leaders and senators in support of defunding Planned Parenthood. Let us protect the rights of these unborn children. Let us protect those that cannot stand for their own rights and are being overlooked. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Not sure if that was 5 minutes, but that's what I got.
Now, I like the part where you said that to write to our local senators or whatever else you said, there are leaders about this.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, I
feel
like the
that's
cause
very
to act.
important. Yeah, I think that was very important.
Thanks.
Make our voice heard.
Yeah, and I like how you mentioned that there have been policies or talks of policies, but nothing has actually been done.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if they've talked about it, like obviously, a lot of states and organizations think it's wrong. No one's following through with it.
Yeah, and it's almost like when you were talking about how all these are government funded, I was just like, wait, that means we're funding this stuff.
That's true.
So it just made me a little more upset. Made it very real for me.
Yeah, I didn't think of it in that sense, but if it's government funded, we're paying for it too.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's one of those policies. Like, yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned that you did that on abortion because, yeah, there is like a popular part to it where they're talking about selling baby parts. It's like, when is it going to end?
Yeah.
It's like, how far are they going to go until it's just like dehumanization? It's just disgusting.
Yeah. That's sick.
Yeah.
Talk about, they just talk about selling, like brain tissue and heart tissue. It's like, in like arms. How can you not see this is like a little life, like, and just they know that I think they know that it's evil, but and they justify it, by making up false, false statements that, oh, they can't feel it or they're not really alive. They're just a bunch of cells, but, it's just sad. And then that continues to fund it. And, the states, there are some states that have some regulations on it, but there's no states that have made abortion illegal, which I think it should be completely illegal, and but I
Yeah,
haven't gone far yet.
yeah. What really gets me is that how they're creating it so that like the parents won't be able to know that their child is getting an abortion. It's like, and then how if the government's funding it, we're funding it. It's not even like a private enterprise. It's just like just an ugly, ugly store, and it doesn't need to be. It just if they would listen to the people, and if we wouldn't be so, I guess that's a little cynical me of saying that. If we wouldn't be so unaware, but we are aware now, and it's like it's more of a reason to do this call to action. I've noticed that a lot of my marriage and family classes have been all about like policies, like,
Hmm.
and I am not one like a political person. Like I'm just not. I don't really keep up with it, but while I'm taking all these classes, they've just been like updating me, and it's really scary on how the world is right now.
Yeah. I think all these things, everything we're learning about policies is trying to show us that, like, that's the only way to get real change. And even if
Yeah,
things do change, there's always going to be a lot of opposition, even if it gets to that level.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think yeah, they're asking members like, oh, there's a class on the UN that I just finished up, and like I was wondering like why am I in all these classes where they emphasize like public policy, and the family is becoming more involved in the politics and stuff. So I think it's trying to tell us that we're going to be a big part of there's something big coming.
Yeah, I agree. Well, did you have any more questions for Julia, or?
I don't. I thought it was very well put together, I thought.
Yeah, what were you scared of, Julia? That was great. You're like the
I
rubric right there.
Yeah. Okay, so do you want me to start then?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay,
Do
can
it.
you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so media has been our source to what's going on in the rest of the world, the news, entertainment, health and lifestyle, and now social media, which is our way of keeping up with friends and family, has become an addiction to comparison, competition, ridicule, and sexting. Did you know that sexting teens can be charged with sexual exploitation? That could land your teenage child on the sex offender registry. And did you know that sexting images are often used in cyberbullying and blackmail? An 18-year-old girl in Ohio committed suicide after her ex-boyfriend shared a digital nude photo of her that she'd sent to him. He shared the image with other students in her school, who in turn distributed it wisely. After this girl sought to have the distribution of the image stopped by reporting it to authorities, students allegedly escalated the harassment, and her parents are currently suing the ex-boyfriend, several former high school classmates, and the school for failing to stop this harassment. The media surrounding this and other incidents has promoted a national movement to address the issue of digital abuse. This national movement has started, but what is actually being done by our government leaders. Several states have set sexting laws to charge teens at a state level. Some of those states are North Carolina and Georgia. Other states that don't have teen sexting laws can prosecute teens at a federal level. According to the PROTECT Act of 2003, parents with knowledge of this behavior can also be prosecuted. This law is individual and family focused, However, it only focuses on the consequences of the problem, not the symptoms or prevention, just the punishment. This law is set up to protect children, but I think it's more of a scare tactic for teenagers. It's our duty as parents to teach our children appropriate media usage and inform them of the serious consequences of their action. Prevention starts in the home, and support from the community and society at large are needed to prevent sexual exploitation and cyberbullying of our children. Parents and educators play an important role in helping young people understand the consequences of poor decisions in a digital age where favorable as well as unfavorable text and images spread exponentially. Therefore, something needs to be done at a state level to prevent, not just punish this. Our individual efforts can only go so far when society does nothing to inform and prevent these problems. Parents, teachers, and lawmakers may be surprised to learn that nearly half of all heavy media users, which are those who use the media for 16 or more hours a day, say they usually get poor grades. 12% of excess video gamers showed aggressive behavior. In a study that was done in China, 17% these adolescents qualified as having internet addiction, and 51% of those students were also identified as insomniacs. Media addiction can contribute to depression, constant tiredness, ADHD, little to no physical activity, a false sense of reality, poor communication skills, and a big effect is the disengaged family relationships because there's little to no family interaction. There's decreased creativity and learning, and nothing is being done to strengthen the family relationships. It's estimated that the average adolescent consumes 8 to 11 hours of media a day, sleeps for 8 hours a day, and is in school for 8 hours a day. That leaves no time for family interaction. And poor communication skills from screen time at a young age can cause numerous problems in the family and society. Young children learn poor communication skills through the media, and not to mention a false sense of reality. Poor communication skills lead to poor people skills, and these are vital tools to function in society. Using these poor communication skills in the real world can lead to many misunderstandings with those we come into contact with. A feeling that one doesn't fit in or belong in their society can lead to depression and other mental issues. A large number of homeless people have mental disorders, and these people depend on society to help them survive. Distracted, sleep-deprived teenagers are more likely to make poor decisions and pose a great danger to society. Drowsy driving and distracted driving are very dangerous to anyone on the road, and this is an even more dangerous combination for our media-addicted teenagers with little driving experience. And media addiction has also created a huge gap between millennials and the older members of society. Millennials are distracted and don't absorb the information that technology provides them. This also leads to more disengaged family relationships. We would be wise as families to be wise together in our use of media and the time we spend connected to media, and focus on finding other ways to build memories and connections between each other. When the family unit struggles, society at large struggles. And so what can be done to change this? We need some way to enforce and teach more appropriate media usage. And this, first we need to educate parents and teachers so that they can educate their children and students. And that's about it.
Woohoo! That was another good topic.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like when you mentioned all the different pretty much symptoms of media usage, I guess it is, like your false sense of reality and even mental illnesses, and you have to be reliable on, the public. So it's almost like a ploy.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like it might happen. Video game nuts.
I like that you were informed about the laws. Like, I had no idea there were like, I don't know. I guess I never really thought about like sexting or any of that. I mean, I know it's like a big problem, but I didn't know that there were like laws about it. So
Yeah, I saw an article in our local news talking about how some football student has just gotten in a lot of trouble over having like over 100 like sexting images that he'd saved. And so I just looked up like sexting laws, and it said a bunch of stuff about several different states that have policies about sexting, and then it pulled up a bunch of different cases from kids from all these different states who they're trying to figure out what to charge them with for obtaining like images of their teenage like girlfriends and boyfriends. So
I have to
big
agree
issue.
with Julia. I had no idea it was a law like that. So
Yeah, I didn't know there was a federal law. I knew certain states have some policies, but
yeah,
I didn't know it was that frequent.
yeah.
Like, I mean, I've heard of it, but I didn't know it was so frequent that it was like a legal problem. Well, and it's obviously a legal problem when you think about what it is.
yeah,
But I didn't know it was done so much.
Yeah, it's becoming more of a legal problem because there's more and more younger teenagers, like 14, 15-year-olds, who are sending pictures to their friends. And
Are they calling them selfies now? Is that the new term for them?
I don't
No, I'm just
know.
kidding.
So,
They changed the name.
yeah, so since they're under 18, it's technically considered sexual exploitation, so that's why it's being federally, it's involved in the federal level now.
Wow.
So,
That's incredible.
Well, were there any
job.
questions?
did you mention how often that goes on? I'm referring to the sexting. What is the percentage?
I don't think I mentioned it, but on this article I have pulled up here, it says more than 60% of a very large study of 14 to 24-year-olds. So more than 60% of them send naked photos of themselves or have been pressured by someone else to do so at least once.
Oh, wow.
Nearly 1 in 5 who receive sext messages pass them along to someone else. And there's all these secretive apps where you can send hidden pictures and things like that.
yeah.
And people are quickly finding ways to save them permanently, distribute them to a lot more people, and they're being used against people. Cyberbullying, like this girl in Ohio who killed herself because of it.
Right.
Not in the world. Kids have that much time on their hands. I mean,
It's
I
because
guess
they're
so.
always plugged in. They're not paying attention to what's really going on.
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah.
why I keep an eye on my teenagers.
Yeah, my parents are kind of clueless about all of these things, and I have two teenage siblings who live at home, so I try to stay informed to inform my parents.
Oh, wow. You are a good sister.
More like
Yes, you
paranoid.
Well, I
Crazy.
think that's it. I don't think there's anything else.
I don't think so.
I
Tell
think
me.
I think all of you did an excellent job overall.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I loved all the subjects.
Yeah,
They were all well chosen today.
Yeah.
it was a nice variety. None of us really talked about the same
Mhm.
thing.
I'm glad none of us talked about the same thing. I was kind of worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. We all talked about something almost completely different from each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, see you
Cool
guys next
beans.
week then.
Yeah.
Thanks, Julia. Thanks, Deb. Thanks, Emily.
Thanks. Bye.
We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right.
Bye.